Our museum of screen culture is unique in our region and tells the story of the past, present and near future of film, television, video games, digital culture and art. Welcome to ACMI. My name's Katrina Sedgwick and I'm the Director and CEO here at this wonderful museum. Over the past 3 years, we've been undergoing a transformation through the incredible support of the Victorian Government and Creative Victoria and the generosity of our partners and donors. Our holistic renewal has been architectural, technological and programmatic. Using the principles of co-design, we've brought together a remarkable group of creative collaborators to develop our bold version of what a museum can be in the 21st century. This is Tim Black, who is the Project Director for BKK. Tell us a bit about your vision, Tim.
The missing piece within this space has always been the connecting tissue of a stair. That, in some respects, is at the core of the new ACMI. I mean, we're in a fantastic atrium space, which in many respects is one of the key laneways that was created in the original Federation Square design. The ACMI Renewal project really aims to open up the atrium as a public laneway again.
Our retail space now has street frontage with a direct connection to the new pedestrian crossing that you might be able to see through the windows to Hosier Lane.
One of the key parts of ACMI's brief to us was to better intermingle your quite different audiences, to create little pockets of public space for people to stop and just have a coffee, meet with friends, and even just pause to charge their phones down here in the Urban Lounge.
I'm here with Chris Harris, who is our Director of Exhibition and Touring and who's really led the design process, overseen it, right across the renewal. Chris, can you talk to us a bit about why Second Story, who are our exhibition and experience design firm, why they were the right firm for us?
But we chose to work with Second Story from the beginning because they're a quite unique design firm that was multidisciplinary. They are storytellers, they're experienced designers, so they understand visitor experience, but also they're experts in collaborative design. We wanted them to work really closely with ACMI and our staff and our content experts, but also with the architects, BKK.
We've opened up the Federation Square level, creating a generous foyer space where we've commissioned artwork and installations that highlight the importance and magic of collection and preservation. Daniel von Sturmer's work, Cataract, Concrete, is an installation of 60 screens, an assemblage of small, everyday moments of existence. Edie Kurzer, an Australian costume designer, collector and artist, has created a series of displays that pay homage to her industry and our collective nostalgia for the moving image. This space also reveals our new Blackmagic Design Media Preservation Lab and the collection staff at work, not just telling, but showing the story of our rich collection and how we're working to preserve and digitise it. The Gandel Digital Future Labs have been redesigned thanks to a flagship grant from Gandel Philanthropy to deliver state-of-the-art learning spaces for primary, secondary and tertiary students with a fully equipped broadcast and green screen studio and a learning lab supporting lifelong learning and future career pathways in the screen industries. BKK's generously proportioned Swinburne studio, supported by our major academic partner Swinburne University, is our major event space and connects to the World Heritage architecture of the building, looking out into the museum atrium and onto Flinders Street through the iconic facade. These spaces across the museum host groundbreaking programs like the ACMI RMIT Audience Lab, a collaboration with our major research partner RMIT, where game developers, filmmakers, artists and developers can beta test their products and prototypes on our museum audiences. The ACMI Cafe has been redesigned by Chris Connell Architects and has transformed into Hero, led by award-winning chef Karen Martini, who will cater all of our events across the building. Our public spaces will be licensed so people can spill out of Hero and hang out right across the building before they visit our exhibitions, programs or screenings. And the ACMI cinemas have been upgraded in partnership with Christie to deliver 4K state-of-the-art laser projection alongside traditional 16mm and 35mm projection. Spread over 1,600 square metres, the story of the moving image takes our visitors on an immersive journey with over 900 objects, from ancient shadow puppets to Victorian-era magic lanterns, original cameras, iconic costumes, movie sets, sketches and clips. First People's culture and creativity is at the heart of our story and really was the starting point of our curatorial journey. This is Sarah Tutton, who is our Chief Curator.
The First People of Australia have been using sound and image, the building blocks of our form, for generations to tell stories. And this really is at the heart of our story of the moving image. With the generous support of the Sydney Maya Fund, we've commissioned Gutjamara artist Vicki Couzens to make this amazing multidisciplinary, multi-part work.
My name's Vicki Couzens and I'm a Kiri Warong Gunditjmara woman from the Western Districts of Victoria. The name of the work is Yanmiar and it means flickering in the firelight. The whole work is about where does moving image originate from, with shadows and light. And it comprises a 300 kilo acrylic lens suspended from the ceiling with figures who were set out in a formation in corroboree in ceremony, giving people the opportunity to perhaps see the world through our lens.
We've commissioned contemporary artworks, co-designed interactive experiences, and developed bespoke digital software and hardware.
This is where Second Story's design practice really comes to the fore. We worked with our partner Igazini, who are a specialist exhibition lighting design and architectural lighting design firm. Second Story worked really closely with them to design a lighting design that really tells a story and changes the shape of the space as you go through it through light.
Interactive and immersive technology is woven throughout to create an entirely new visitor experience that continues long after visitors have left the building. Thanks to cutting-edge Panasonic technology and expertise, our visitors experience the story of the moving image in high definition.
Sound, of course, is really important in any exhibition that's about the moving image because there's so many sound sources, so often there's a cacophony of sound. So we worked with our other partner, Yamaha, to provide a soundscape, an array of speakers throughout the whole space that's fully controllable and configurable.
I'm standing here with Seb Chan, who is ACMI's Chief Experience Officer, and he's really led the technological transformation of our museum and the experience journey for the renewal. The lens is going to play a really crucial role in how visitors navigate the exhibition and indeed the whole museum.
Yeah, so the lens is a free cardboard device that visitors collect at the entry to the galleries. This allows them to collect anything that they see to take home or watch or play later, and it's sort of their personal diary of their visit. It also extends our museum to their living room or their school. It's designed by Second Story and is based on those Viewmaster reels that you might have used as a child. We worked with Swinburne Centre for Design Innovation to ensure that it's fully recyclable.
And you just tap it on a label and you collect whatever it is, a costume, a piece of media, a video game, and then go on a deeper dive.
Yeah, and you can save anything you also make here. So perhaps you've made a flip book or you've made something in the Foley studio or on the edit line. Those are also saved here for later sharing.
The exhibition is divided into 5 distinct significant moments in moving image history. Each section has its own distinct design aesthetic and will evolve over time to reflect our rapidly changing subject matter. Moving Pictures provides the historical backbone to our exhibition. Tari Mackenzie has used the Victorian-era stage illusion, the Pepper's Ghost, to manipulate light and reflection to create a seemingly 3-dimensional sculpture, challenging how we see and exploring the perceptual effects of colour, light and space. Tari's work is at the beginning of our journey and it shows the important role that contemporary art plays in our take on the story of the moving image. Here we show the work of early photographer and inventor Edward Muybridge and his groundbreaking work that literally split time. This sits alongside early cameras, projectors and pioneers including Alice Guy Blaché, Georges Méliès, Sergei Eisenstein, Charlie Chaplin, and the world's first feature film, The Story of the Kelly Gang, made right here in Melbourne in 1906. And with this burst of red, we have announced the arrival of colour with costumes from Bernardo Bertolucci's The Last Emperor. Here we celebrate the arrival of TV. Each television set represents a decade since TV arrived in Australia in the 1940s. And behind its screen, a beautiful miniature of the room it would have been watched in, complete with a tiny working replica of the exact same television.
In Moving Worlds, we showcase the craft that goes into the making of film and television, exploring storyboarding, production, character and costume design, makeup and prosthetics, visual effects and sound design. The feel here is much more like a working studio. The walls are covered in pinboards full of concept art and reference images from the creative process, and the display features original costumes, props and notebooks from designers, including a suite of costumes by Oscar-winning Sandy Powell from The Favourite.
Generously supported through a major gift from the 6A Foundation in collaboration with Ricky Swart, Moving Australia is at the heart of our exhibition. While First Nations content and artists are represented throughout our exhibition, there is a greater emphasis in Moving Australia, with a strong focus on self-representation and determination. We've literally wrapped this section with a stunning 4-channel projected artwork canopy, commissioned by our Indigenous Advisory Group and created by Torres Strait Islander producer, director and writer for screen and stage, John Harvey. Here we weave together interconnected stories and content, highlighting multiple and diverse voices and shedding light on much-loved favourites.
Car culture is such a big part of our identity. The Mad Max car was a highlight of our old museum, but it took up lots of space. Using a mirror here, we create the illusion of the full vehicle, and then on the other half, we present a car from Bush Mechanics, the subversive cult hit reality television show from the early 2000s, celebrating Warlpiri humour, ingenuity and culture, and the way that they used good tricks, branches, wire, grass, kangaroo intestine, to keep their cars going on the red sand roads of outback Australia. Our Games Lab celebrates the creativity of this extraordinary industry that now is bigger than the global film and television industries combined. And it's generously supported by Big Ant Studios, which started right here in Melbourne.
This section showcases 16 playable games from the 1980s through to now. As with much of our exhibition, the display will be updated regularly, telling a global story but with a strong focus on the huge talent of the Melbourne and Australian games industry.
Moving Minds is a new area of focus for us, specifically looking at factual media, from early newsreels, documentary, journalism, citizen journalism to propaganda and fake news. It feels more and more important in times like these that we explore these areas for our audiences.
The design mimics that of a broadsheet, with a bombardment and intensity of images, screens and words. We want our visitors to feel slightly overwhelmed, and we want them to think carefully and critically about how they consume news and information.
The Memory Garden gives you an intimate experience of our home movie collection. By placing your hands in the light, you activate a tiny home movie projection from ACMI, the National Film and Sound Archive, and Koori Heritage Trust's collections, becoming the screen and cradling these beautiful memories. We're here in the Constellation.
Yeah, this is very exciting. This allows visitors to explore their connections between everything that they have collected and seen. They're actual little narratives that connect films to television shows and video games and works of art. It's a really fascinating way of navigating a universe of content that is much, much bigger than any museum could ever hold.
So the technological engine that basically powers not just this exhibition but works right across our functions at ACMI is the XOS. We developed that in partnership with Cisco.
The XOS is a fancy way of saying the software that kind of knits together the collections, our exhibition spaces physically, and also our websites. It's also what allows the lens to work.
In Gallery 2, we're presenting one of the first multimedia events ever made, Oscar Fischinger's Raumlichtkunst, in a reconstruction of his multiple screen film performances first shown in Germany in 1926. Reconstructed by the Centre for Visual Music in Los Angeles from Fischinger's original 1920s nitrate film, they restored the film and digitally reconstructed this 3-screen installation. Originally accompanied by live avant-garde percussion, they chose 2 versions of double music by John Cage and Lou Harrison and ionisation by Edgard Varese. And this is the first in a series showcasing seminal and newly commissioned artworks by international artists in partnership with Naomi Milgram Foundation. We then culminate our visit, moving past the beautiful reflective figures that make up the second part of Vicki Couzens' work. And then you emerge, blinking and dazzled into the light of our beautiful foyer and conveniently right next to the gift shop. Exhausted and elated, you shop, Then relax and talk with your friends and family about all the wonderful stories and experiences that you've discovered at ACMI, logging into your lens. Share the objects you've collected and experience what you've made. Explore some more constellations created not by an algorithm, but by our wonderful team of humans. At our multi-platform museum, the conversation and the discovery continues online until you can visit us here again.